welcome to Horror Talks. How are you?
I am beautiful. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And yeah, getting to do this and getting to be a guest on someone else's show is always so much fun. So thank you so much for the invite. And it's awesome to meet you.
Yes, it is really nice to meet you and see you in here at Horror Talks as a guest. And if you want to, I can start with our first question for you.
Sure, absolutely.
Our first question is actually, we are curious about how your passion for horror cinema began. And what was the first film or the first memory that drew you into horror cinema?
My earliest memory that I have of a horror movie or something scary, I think that was always something that I have two older brothers and an older sister, and it was just always something that around Halloween, things were on, Godzilla movies, monster movies. And early on, I remember being a little kid and the Halloween movies would be on like a marathon on TV. And it being something where I knew I wasn't supposed to be watching them, and I would hear my parents coming down the hall. I had this really small little tube TV that was in their bedroom, and I'd have to turn the channel fast because I was like, I'm gonna get in trouble. This is, but that was the exhilaration of it. It was like, oh man, I'm not supposed to be doing this. But then also, I guess like a very prominent memory for me was I was on vacation and we were out. My brother played high school baseball. They were practicing. Long story short, he hit a line drive and the ball hit me in my head. I got knocked unconscious. I had a concussion and my mom was trying to keep me awake. And it was something where my grandma, we were over their house. They had a huge like shelf kind of like this in the backdrop here with VHS at the time. And I saw the movie Jaws on there and I just kind of took my chance to maybe pick something I wasn't supposed to watch, and it ruined water for me for the rest of my life.
Are you still afraid from the water? Really?
I'm in Michigan and I'm surrounded by fresh water, no sharks. But the moment that I get deep enough to where my feet don't touch, I start backtracking. The music plays in my head. Not a fan.
Just give you a lifetime trauma.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's great. So how did the idea to transition from just being a hardcore horror viewer to creating this podcast and video series? And where you host independent directors and actors under the Lo-Fi Horror Guy. Where did the idea came from?
So I had started this page. I had noticed I had like a smaller like Instagram page that was just family and friends, like whatever. But things would start popping up where people would be showing off DVDs or special editions of something that they got, from a big box store or, kind of like a popular Best Buy or, like a shop like that as far as to get DVDs or Blu-rays. And I thought that was kind of cool. And so I created this page and it was just more so less, something to show off like cool special editions that I had and, different things that I might have from other countries or may it be Spanish or Italian editions. I've always been a huge collector, started with DVDs and then just kind of boils over from every new format that comes out. And then I think really the idea as far as the interviews just came from starting to build more of a following, and then also pages that I followed here on my Instagram, the Lo-Fi Horror Guy, and just being interested in what their story was and where their interests began and how similar that like I could be talking with someone who is just down the road from me, or someone who is in Istanbul, Turkey, and how similar our stories could be that we've never met, but that interest and that intrigue and how cool it was and how special it was, to have these things and, just know that it was like a universal reaction to something that, something as silly as a horror movie or as schlocky as a, monster movie could be. so special to so many people. And so I started reaching out to friends just in interest of how they got into it and how they discovered these things, and it just pretty much blew up from there.
Okay, that's great. And when you passion for something, you want to share it to people
Totally.
you have same interest with. And how it is going now, the your page, and what we will see in the future.
You know, I've had a little bit of a break. I'm in the middle of selling my house, and there's a lot of things just at home that is going with, you know, trying to taper back a little bit from interviews. But just 2 days ago, I started introducing in May. I'm going to be starting up interviews again with a couple of different directors. Really cool independent movies that I am really excited for and can't wait to hear more myself, much less try and, you know, help promote others, you know, to be able to check them out as well.
Oh, that's great. So you are practically a volunteer ambassador for independent horror cinema. In your opinion, what are the most fundamental differences between today's box office breaking mainstream horror films and independent films you discovered at festivals?
You know, I think like the biggest thing is, to me, it's always fun to see, you know, a famous face, or to see someone who is like, oh my gosh, Brad Pitt is in this movie. How cool, you know, I can't wait to. But I think for me with independent film, especially, may it be small budget, big budget, short films, feature length, is that passion that's behind it first and foremost, and to be you know, kind of thrown into this universe full of people that I don't know, full of, you know, a space that I'm unfamiliar with. May it be horror or not, you know, just independent film in general. I absolutely love that feeling, and I absolutely love looking into like, wow, what did these people, and where did they, you know, what other projects have they done? What have they directed? What have they acted in? And especially for having this page, I guess that was one of the biggest things for me that was exciting, was being able to connect with these people and actually ask, you know, like whether it be a written interview or whether it be, you know, speaking, because I have little bits, but as far as like being able to conduct a whole interview in Spanish or, you know, in Turkish, I mean, it's just something that like I'm still working on, but haven't gotten there yet. So, you know, trying to do, you know, what I can, but then also being able to do things like written interviews, the power of, you know, how ugly the internet can be and technology can be. I am forever grateful for the connections, even like today, that I've been able to make, and the people I've gotten to talk to, the people I've gotten to meet, and you know, just be able to share, like you said, share these really cool, fun, and memorable experiences.
Yes. Well, what do you think about the current trajectory of the modern horror genre?
It's amazing. It is absolutely crazy how many, you know, not even like middle or low tier horror movies, like in the earlier 2000s, you know, it was like horror movies were coming out, but it was kind of spaced out to, you know, things that you would find that were actually decent, much less something that was great. But I mean, for some of the stuff that's been coming out, and even making it to like smaller theaters, you know, local to me, much less, you know, some of the stuff that people have been putting out on YouTube, even for free, or people have been, you know, having like a release. I just recently watched Above the Knee. Have you heard of that?
No, is it a short movie?
It's a feature. It's the same director. Oh my gosh. Villar Poe. Oh my, I'm forgetting his last name. I'm gonna kick myself in the ass. This is insane. He
It's
also
okay.
did a movie called Good Boy. But
Oh, I saw the video on your page. You
yeah,
mentioned that movie. Yes, I was wondering about it. I didn't watch, but
absolutely.
I will sure.
Oh, it's and I think that's one of the things for me, with independent filmmaking is, just discovering things like that, or even being able to have, like, we have this application, it's called Tubi, and a
Mhm.
ton of movies that are that are foreign to United States wind up there, but it is such an awesome resource for, like, people like myself who, are looking for these things, and sometimes they get kind of lost in that shuffle of, you pull up, a Netflix or something like that, and there's so much, to kind of indulge in that you don't know where to start. But uh, yeah, that above the knee, good boy, that guy is certifiably insane.
Yeah, I'm really curious about that movie. I will watch it for sure. And I agree with you about the confusion. There are so many good films sometimes, and I try too hard to pick one and watch it.
Yeah,
And it's a good
yeah,
thing, actually.
yeah,
It's a good
yeah,
thing. And there are
yeah,
so
totally.
many good horror films right now in the past like 5 years. There are so
Hmm.
many good horror movies.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, I went on a rant, and I oftentimes, if I don't prepare myself fully for things, I didn't want this to feel like I was just, sitting here and reading off of a screen or anything. But we love horror, I guess, and this is just kind of how things happen sometimes. But
And
as
yeah,
as
it's
far as
kind of
horror,
popular
I'm sorry, go
now.
ahead.
It's
Yeah,
kind of popular now.
yeah, which is amazing. It's almost like something that, like, I think with Sinners, over in the States, when Sinners came out and it won this huge award, I really think that that kind of was like the tipping scale to, like, holy shit, we really need to, like, look more at horror as a genre and not just like the silly kind of, you know,
Mhm.
C and D, grade of film. Godzilla minus one, that coming out and that winning, the accolades that it did, was another thing for being a Japanese spoken film, for being one of my favorite movies of all time. And I'm not embarrassed to say that, I mean, as far as it
Yeah.
being a brand new movie, amazing. Like, so cool. It's a great time to be alive and to enjoy horror.
Yes, we should be proud.
Yeah, 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 for sure. For sure.
As someone who watches and reviews countless festival films from all around the world, what is the anatomy of a good horror film for you?
You know, I think the foundation of it all is passion. And maybe that sounds kind of way too broad or kind of silly, but there's been times that I have seen something that, to, the initial eye, or you maybe show it to a friend, they're like, what is this? This is trash. This is silly. There's, like, no story to it. But, like, you can see, I mean, the people that are involved with it, um, maybe just stripping it all away, and it's just this kind of wild ride for 45 minutes. Um, that you see the heart that people are putting into this, and you see the seriousness that they're taking with it, and while also having fun. I mean, noticing that, like, they have a job to try and portray whatever it is that this vision is supposed to be. um and I think, like, at the foundation of it, that passion, that heart is huge. I don't ever want to say that money has to be something. Yeah, it's nice, but I think
Mhm.
when you start tossing in those things, and you look at someone like Steven Spielberg, who makes Jaws on
Mhm.
damn near nothing, I mean, there was money still involved, but comparatively to, like, something nowadays, it's like there's still
Yeah.
something missing. And, like, I mean, those early days is passion, heart, drive. There has been some stuff that has, to the average viewer would say is absolute trash, that I'm like, dude, that's way too fun for you to consider it trash. But
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, I would say, without it being like too abroad, um if we're talking horror specifically, I love practical effects, whether they are the best pulled off, or just kind of a silly catch up, like type blood or something like that. I love practical effects. I love something that, if they're going to do a monster, if they're going to do, something that is like this otherworldly being. May it be even like having to zoom up on it and do like a forced perspective, type situation, just so that they can have something in camera reacting to. I love that type of stuff. Like, I'm just such a sucker for that.
That's great. I also love it.
Yeah. Yeah. What are some monster movies that you love?
I love.
Anything come to mind?
I guess my favorite subgenre for horror is body horror. I really love that messy body horror films.
Sure. Okay.
I also love creatures,
Yeah,
monsters.
I know. Absolutely. Like The Fly.
Yes. Cronenberg. I really love his movies.
Yeah.
And Fly is one of my favorite.
Yeah. Okay. And I mean, that kind of blends all of that as far as like the gross monster and, just the disgust of like the slimy gooiness and the practical effects, of it. Yeah. It's that's always a very special point to me. If they can pull that off, even if there's some other parts that you notice like, this actor is not quite pulling it off, but there's other aspects to it, with the passion and the heart and some radical practical effects. I'm probably going to be happy.
That's great. So in this era where everything is rapidly digitalizing and getting lost on streaming platforms, what does owning a physical movie, DVD, poster, or a figure mean to you? I guess you have a lot of figures and DVDs, posters.
Yeah.
I can see in the background.
Yeah, normally this is all covered posters, collectibles, all that. I'm in the process of moving, like I was mentioning, so I didn't want to fully pack the movies yet because I knew that I was doing this. I knew I had a couple of things coming up. So, yeah, normally I have a ton of crap all over this room that
So great.
yeah, it is truly, like, I mean, it's just something that is so special. And I think, kind of like we were mentioning earlier, as far as like living in a time that is so cool, especially to be like a horror fan. Having that poster art, like that was in the 80s, where it feels hand drawn, where it feels personal to someone, and it's not just something tossed up by AI or, some sort of goofy generative bunch of actors' faces on it with the title card, or whatever. Like, the poster art has always been so cool. Even to I mean, I love Godzilla, so that's probably going to come up quite a bit, but even to the 80s and 90s Godzillas that came out, and the alternate poster art that they would put up that was all in Japanese. There's just a collectability to all of that, and that doesn't go without saying the DVDs as well. The cover art, when I was younger, even we would do like lists, like my buddy and I, we would do these lists, and we would like pull out like a stack of 30 DVDs, and we'd just be like, which of the 5 best ones that have the coolest spines, like just silly shit that I like think back to, just innocent fun. But it was just all part of like appreciating and loving having these things physically. Now, like I said earlier, as far as having something like Tubi or certain streaming platforms is cool, because it gives that opportunity to see some stuff that otherwise I may, not have opportunity to, or might not see on DVD or Blu-ray. Or like even something like, like Seara, where that just recently released. I've been seeing DVDs of that put up. Sean Evernall posting some stuff, but I haven't seen anything over here yet, and I can't quite get it to ship over. But as soon as that happens, like, no more streaming. That thing's popping in the player. So, I mean, as far as the physical aspect of it, I think that's just like in a collector's eye, it's something where not even to get the Blu-ray or to get the 4K, just to have, the better versions visually, but having, cool cover art, having new like visions from someone to see how they would want to see it on a shelf. Those things are all so special. I think that like goes hand in hand with like books too, having different sleeves. And when does it end?
Do you have which piece in your collection has the highest sentimental value for you? Before that question, I would like to show you my toy. I also have some figures, and I will show you my favorite one, Alien. Do you have
so awesome.
figures? Thank you. I love it so much.
I grabbed a couple of things. I don't want to take too much time. I'll give a little bit of kind of like a background story to some of these. So there is we were talking about collecting, and I wanted to kind of mention. So there's this company from the UK called Second Sight Films. They do these absolutely crazy hard box editions. This is the Dawn of the Dead. It was a 4K set, and you slip this off.
Beautiful.
It's got slip that, and then there's multiple cases of discs in here. You have the written novelization. You have kind of like a behind the scenes. As far as collectors wise, like this is always something I've always loved. Dawn of the Dead, but having something that it sold out really fast, and it's something that I've always like considered one of my favorite things that are in my collection. Recently I had picked up, I still haven't even opened it actually, this Nightmare on Elm Street. This is all steel books. They had put this out. I can't even think of what the company was. I guess it was Warner Brothers UK, but I thought there was something else to it. But came in this like steel case, like it's all like steel books, original cover art, Blu-rays, 4Ks. But this was something that was like really sweet that I can't even bring myself to open yet. I'm trying to think if I'm going to, but we'll see.
It looks so good.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm like, do I do it? Like I gotta see. I still gotta wait, because then Halloween is gonna come around, October is gonna come around, and it's probably gonna be the time where I'm like, damn it, I gotta check this out. I have always loved, I film outside of the United States, and I think that started early with Godzilla. That started early with Japan. Different, even outside of horror, samurai, fighting. I loved to be able to like discover things that felt very foreign to me, and whether it be the language spoken or whether it be the visuals, the clothing, the architecture. So that said, this Blind Dead collection, it came in this like coffin case.
Oh, it's so good.
You slap that off, and it's got the DVDs here of the Tombs of the Blind Dead, the Return of the Evil Dead. Really, really cool. I was really psyched to get this like some years ago, and I can't let that go. And I'll wrap up on one of the cool things. So we're talking about being excited about being collectors and horror fans nowadays. So there is a big chain of cinemas here in the States called Alamo Drafthouse, and they have been doing specialized popcorn buckets. So you pop this bad boy out from the box here, and then we pull this up, and literally we have the 1950s Showa Godzilla head, and the mouth opens, and they put popcorn in it as a popcorn bucket.
Really?
Like,
oh, it's so cool.
I mean, for things like this, I have to eternally thank my buddy Ramon, because he picked this up. I didn't even know that they made these, and he had just gifted it to me recently, and I was like so excited. I couldn't believe it. They are like long sold out. So I think that's something kind of cool too with particular items for collecting nowadays, is that they only make so many. It's hand numbered on the bottom, everything really, really cool. So I think we live in a special time to be collectors, to be film fans at large, not even necessarily for horror, but definitely for horror.
Do you use it to eat popcorns?
I can't bring myself to. No, I
would definitely use it.
Yeah.
Whenever
I should just bring it to the theater every time I go.
Yes, I will take it myself everywhere.
Yeah. It'd be kind of fun if the bottom was cut out and I could just put it on my head and walk around, but yeah, not yet.
It's so cool. So, as you frequently feature on your show, you are constantly discovering new horizons. What are some hidden gem films you watched recently that made you say everyone absolutely must see this? Is there any?
I would absolutely start with saying Seara. Have you seen that yet?
No, no, I
Sean
didn't.
Evernall, he did Baskin, he did Housewife. That movie is such an awesome revenge, more leaning on the aspect of revenge, but I mean, for that subgenre of just film in general, one of the coolest, best accounts of a revenge movie that I can remember in forever. Like, it is so badass. She beats the shit out of these guys, and it is so gratifying. Like,
Oh, yes,
really,
yes,
really cool.
yes. Now I get it. Okay, Sayara.
Yeah.
Jack Reynolds movie. Okay,
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
saw it. Yes.
Yeah.
I really love that movie.
Oh, beautiful. Oh my God. I absolutely loved it. And then I mean, I have to say, Above the Knee, like I was saying, Villiard Bull. I was messing it up earlier. I'm so sorry, Villiard. Above the Knee was
The director of Good Boy, right?
Yeah. Yep. So he did the same. If anybody hasn't seen, just kind of like as a brief synopsis, I was introduced to Villiard's work with Good Boy, where he has a man trying to win over a girl, trying to schmooze her, fall in love, and she comes back to his house cabin with him, and he has a dog, but the dog is a person in a dog costume. And it just is very like
Very
weird, very awkward. Like, it just makes your skin crawl. And then after this, he does a movie called Above the Knee, which is about a man who is just like constantly bothered that his left leg is rotting from the inside, and he wants to cut off his leg above the knee so that he can become like handicapped essentially. And he just has this like everlasting thought, constantly like thinking about how he's going to do it, what he's going to do, how he's going to pull it off. And he meets like other people that also have this let me think of how to say this, interest or euphoric dream of having some sort of a handicap that they don't have. So the stuff that he is doing is absolutely crazy. I love it. I love it. I mean, and then like, I guess from more mainstream things, I went and saw Lee Cronin's The Mummy, which he did.
I still didn't watch it, but I'm so curious about it. Is it that good?
It was
Really?
so good. So good. And I'm not going to spoil anything either as far as anybody who hasn't seen it, but I was, like, decently excited for it. I thought it would be, whatever. I liked Evil Dead Rise, but I wasn't in love with it. But this, I was like, oh, wow. He came to play. And then I could also say Hokum. I don't know. Have you seen trailers for that?
Yes, I am waiting for that. It will be on the theaters at 1st of May, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm
okay.
really
Beautiful.
wondering about it. Did you watch it?
I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna go May 1st, and I'm gonna try to catch the earliest premiere of it that I can. Jamie McCarthy's stuff is
really
awesome.
hyped movie, and I really curious about that movie.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Oddity either, his movies before this, the first was a film called Caveat, and then his second one was Oddity, and Oddity is like, that guy knows what he's doing.
I have to take notes.
well, and that's, I think that's one of the beautiful things, though, just about having this, the community. I'm not a big social media guy, but when I discovered this whole, community of people that loved horror films and people that, were promoting things, and I would say, 95% of the time, really a lot of people being positive about it too. I think that's something else that's always like drawn me, is that going to a horror convention, doing any sort of, different coverage, working with Onar, with KORK, it has always been so positive. It's always been so just like a warm hug. And, for people to all have that same excitement. But meanwhile, also having differ of opinions, not necessarily ever, coming on here to, absolutely trash on something, or, say that it's garbage, but having your conversations of, what it was that you did like, or what it was that you didn't. And, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 is something I go back and forth with people weekly about how I absolutely love that movie, and for so many reasons. And they're just like, don't talk to me.
Our friends.
Yeah. Yeah. Out of my way. And not even in a sense I to sit here and schmooze, or try to be anything extra, but the opportunity that I had as far as being able to do the coverage with KORK, and as far as talking about newer films, being introduced to Onar, and being able to talk about Bomba and the heavy subject matter that was behind this. But then being able to also have the introduction to as many films worldwide as there was. Not only, some of the stuff, Heart of the Evil from Turkey. Oh man, what was this called? One second, I'm sorry. I have a couple of notes pulled up so I wouldn't fuck this up, and here I am. Heart of the Evil was absolutely insane. Oh, Skin of Sadness. I could cry.
Really?
It was devastating. Those
my God.
Correct me, I believe Hasan Ege Çalışkan
Yes.
was the director, and I've got to be able to interview him, whether it's written or whether it's in person, because the stories that he is putting out, Skin of Sadness was devastating, absolutely crazy. So, being able to have the opportunity with newer film, and being able to see film that's from outside of the United States, even some of the films that were from the United States that I also didn't know had been released or had been made. Really, really cool opportunity. So bravo to KORK. I love them. I wouldn't have done all the stuff I did if it wasn't for passion and fun and pure love.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, geez, thank you. It's so awesome, and I can't wait to see. This is was this last year the third year, right? Or second?
I'm not sure about it.
I can't remember. Okay, I can't remember, but I know that it has been at least 2 years, because I have followed the festival, and with that said, seeing the growth of things and seeing the expansion of films that have been involved is just so exciting. It's so cool to see where it's going to go next year, and I can only I can't wait. I was going to say I can only wait, but I can't wait, because it's an awesome experience. So, and for anybody who's available to check it out and be there in person in Istanbul, I am jealous.
I am so excited too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So who are the new generation directors that have entered your radar and that you're following?
Hasan Çalışkan, absolutely. I would say Damien McCarthy who did Hokum, who did Oddity, is just doing awesome things for horror. What else have I seen recently? Villarbeau, that fella is just haunting my dreams with things that I think the fun thing with horror is that, you come across stories so many times, but somebody like Villar, somebody like Hassan introduces these new horrors into your mind that you're like, oh, I didn't want to. I'd never thought of, this aspect of my life being ruined by something that could be so heinous or gross. And now every time I see it, I'm like, gosh damn it. I go to somebody's house and they say they have a dog and I'm like, is it a dog?
Are you
I don't
sure?
want to worry about these things.
Did you check correctly?
I don't want to worry about these things. But I am absolutely, I've been obsessed with Chan Evrenol for, some time now also. When Baskin came out and being introduced to that story, it just blew me out of the water. I appreciate directors, like people putting stuff out like, the Eli Roths and the bigger like name, directors or whatnot. But like I say, I think generally where I am going to be amazed, where I'm going to have, my jaw dropped, where I'm going to just be like in awe is when I am introduced to people that I'm not familiar with, places I'm not familiar with. And may it be, an American film or, outside of the United States, just those independent stories of having no connection to these people, having no understanding of who they are, where they're from, anything about them, where they're at, really tosses me into being excited about something.
Yeah, that's great. So my question is, last year you dedicated a very detailed segment to the KORK International Horror Festival and reviewed all the films wonderfully. What do you think about the festival being accessible online from all over the world and opening independent films up to a global audience?
I think it would be amazing. If that was something that was tangible, if that was something that was even a limited option as far as if you only had like 100 passes or something like that, available. I was really excited about, hearing something like that because I can only imagine the amount of work that goes into these things. So I'm the last person to sit here and be like, you guys should have 5 locations and you should, but there's always those just ideas of being excited about something and being like, yo, this should be available online. Like I would really love to, have access to be able to watching, these different things or being able to tell people. And then I think from my standpoint also, as far as being able to promote them, I had a lot of people that were asking like, where can I watch this? I'm like, it's like in festivals right now. And I feel like that's like the most frustrating thing about doing some of those videos sometimes is trying to have something for them to be able to at least, like see like a, like something other than a trailer or people being really excited, like, whoa, this is like a short film. Like I can be at home and I have like a cool setup at my house. Like I can go downstairs. It's 20 minutes. Like I can be excited about it. So if that
popcorn
was
from Godzilla.
Feed me, Zilla.
Perfect.
Yeah, I would love that. I think that would be absolutely sick. And there's always a rise of, more and more influencers that are solely based on horror that I think, having that opportunity for them to have the reach, telling their following about that, and then their following being able to have something to click on and be it however much it might be, for an individual or getting a pass to the whole thing. That would be really sick if KORK did that for 2026. But I don't want to pressure because I know that there's a lot of work into all this shit. So.
Yes. Do you have other favorite festivals you follow, like KORK, that offer this kind of global access?
I mean, I do, and honestly, like it's not going to be, I don't want to have an answer by saying that, like that this is this or that is that. I think really what was interesting to me was there was big box releases that was involved with KORK, and there was independent releases, and there was just kind of like straight into, I don't want to say necessarily like first films or things like that, but there was even just like entries like I want to say maybe it wasn't empty jars. I'm trying to think. There's a couple that were even like a stop motion that were still also crushing, and something that like I feel like maybe some of the stories you might not see at every other festival, but that was what made it special for me, was having the access to some of these stories and having the access to being able to see these things and then reach out to them. And hopefully in these next coming months, I'm going to be getting back into doing more interviews and talking with them about those, and then probably doing the same in 2027 about the releases that come out in 2026. But I mean, honestly, like I said, I don't, there, of course, is like the Tribecas and the different film festivals, but I honestly am so excited with like what KORK did, especially last year, and being able to dig into and watch everything front to back. That, yeah, I'm just interested to see what they're doing next, and really excited to see what they've got coming next.
Yeah, we are also very excited. So, have there
Great.
been any films or directors from Turkey that you had the opportunity to follow?
Can Ebrenal, talking with Onar, and then Hassan Çalışkan. Trying to think of, there was two other that I had interviewed, and I went back prior to this, and I was trying to find, and I don't know if they were like somehow accidentally archived on my page. I can't remember now, and I'm kicking myself in the ass. But the very interesting thing to me about Turkish film, and especially like the juxtaposition that I will see versus American film or even Italian, French, Turkey has a way of taking certain elements that I feel like often might be tiptoed around or maybe like alluded to in other countries, especially United States, where there's just some things that I have seen within Turkish film that I'm like, holy shit. Especially, unfortunately, like awful things that happen with like children. I'm just like, oh my god, they it was actually like it actually like show it's, and that's awful. It's not something necessarily to kind of like applaud, but I will say that I feel like there's like a fearlessness in storytelling, and I feel like whatever it is, may it be the most disgusting or just kind of baseline description of what it is that they're trying to get across in their story. There's just somehow understanding of, if this is going to get fucked up, it's going to get fucked up. And and it goes there. So I mean, I'm always excited to see different film that is coming out of Turkey, and seeing Istanbul or different regions slapped on something, because I'm like, oh shit. There's definitely a moment though when I'm pressing play on something on my TV that I kind of have like a, okay, just be ready. Things might get a little crazy, and you know what? That's what I'm excited for.
Perfect. So my last question is, you are always the one hosting independent directors and actors and asking them questions. Today, the seats have been changed, and you are the guest. What has been your absolute favorite question that you ask your guests on your show so far?
I think often when I'm preparing an interview, I try my hardest to not make it selfish, but if I were to have a moment where it's normally just solely on my excitement and my interests, rather than the audience, rather than the guest, I typically, if it's somebody who works in film, I like to ask if they kept anything from the shoot, and may it be a prop, if they kept a shirt, if they have a hat that they kept that had the fake blood from it, a monster head, a leg, just different things like that. And I know that there's some people that, they don't really necessarily have the room or have the interest, but there's been some others that have, like popped up, and I had interviewed, oh my God, I don't know how I even thought about Joko Anwar from Indonesia. He just recently had a new movie come out called Ghost in a Cell that looks insane. I can't wait to see that. Oh my God, where was I going with this? I'm sorry. Joko Anwar. When I got to interview him, he had the bell in this glass jar that was from, dude, I should have taken more notes. I try my hardest not to be like overly prepared, so it doesn't feel like I'm just like reading off a prompter. Impedagore. So I think it was 2019, 2020, somewhere around there. He had a movie come out called Impedagore, and there was this like super creepy bell in this like glass case with like these like cherry blossom seeds at the bottom. And he just like busted that out, and he was like, yeah, well, I have this. And then he like rang the bell, and I was just like, holy shit, like so cool. So yeah, if I had to say, I mean, there's a moment of selfishness in my interviews, it's generally to see if they had kept anything from the film shoot.
Perfect. So I have a question for you. I'm curious about it. So do you have any specific movie that you can tell me that this movie is the most horrifying movie to me? This is the most scary movie ever. If you want to, I can tell you my scariest movie of all time.
Please.
It's The Exorcist. It terrifies me still.
It is absolutely haunting still to this day. And I think even like some of the behind the scenes stories of the filming of it and injury. Yeah, God. That's one of the properties, honestly, that I never get excited about hearing a remake or a sequel or any of that, because I'm like, just leave it alone. I don't care if Mike Flanagan is putting his name on something else. Like, Jesus Christ, leave it alone. We don't need it. I mean, scariest, I mean, it kind of falls back on, I was really young when I saw Jaws, and still to this day does something, in the back of my mind.
A lifetime
forever. As far as a movie, I guess I'll say one old and one new. When I was somewhere as a teenager, at the time I was embarrassed, but since I've told him, and he knows the story, that I was having a sleepover at a buddy's with maybe even like a couple other friends, and we had rented the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and the grittiness and the just blunt force and the just sweaty feel of this, it was awful. I couldn't stomach it. And I remember I ended up going home that night like sick, like puking, because it just like it just did something to me that still to this day, when I go back and I watch that movie, and like the original attack of the guy getting hit in the head with the hammer and him having that seizure, seeing that seizure, I think really fucked with me for a long time, because I was like, oh my God, like it was just something so like jarring and different that I'd never seen before in a horror movie, really. And I guess to say something newer, and I hope this isn't anything that, you know, is too generic, but when I saw Hereditary for the first time,
Oh yes, Hereditary.
it really
It
got me, man.
really
I don't, did you,
very
like,
fun.
it took me a little while too, because one of the things that really was bothering me was I was seeing all of these like prompts and ads on social media, you know, the top 30 horror movies of all time, top 10 scariest movies of all time. And Hereditary was always on this. And I was just like, I don't even want to watch this movie. I don't believe it. I'm not falling into it. And I got it as a gift. And so I was like, well, you know, I'll pop this on. And it was over like the span of 3 days that I'd watched it, where really I just kind of broke it up in paces of watching. And I don't know if subliminally it was just because like I was kind of like blown back and trying to process, or if it was just something that things were happening with family that I was like, oh, I'll pick this back up. But upon seeing that for the first time, I was like, holy shit! Just the cryptic writing, you know, the fast like pan outs with random people placed out in the woods around the house, you know, the chanting, like, ugh, I
The
don't
sound,
I,
the sound.
oh my god.
That sound haunts me entire the movie. I start hearing.
Yeah.
It's coming right from after me. It was,
Yeah,
was
the
really
clicking
terrifying.
is, yeah. Yeah, for sure. I absolutely agree. You know, and I thought that it was, you know, really well done, and still to this day, I mean, Ari Aster is, you know, he's a
Yes,
director that anything I see come out in theater, I go and I watch in theater. So I enjoy his
exactly.
stuff. Yeah.
So
No,
we
good question.
our no more questions. Our questions are done. So thank you
Okay.
for being a guest for our horror talks, and
Mhm.
hope to see you soon again.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for all of the you know,
Yeah,
the thoughtful questions and the conversation, and you know, for fun, and just being another you know, friend out here to be able to promote this silly fun that we get to have with horror films. So yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you so much.
thank you.